Time for another trucker video. Welcome back to my channel. See me in my 50s. Thank you for joining me. And this video is especially for you truckers out there. But some of you all out here that don't drive trucks, hey, y'all can probably get some tips from this too. Truckers, this is regarding your medical certificate, renewing your medical certificate to be able to be cleared to drive. I'm gonna tell you about an experience I just had recently going in. Now, I told you before on previous videos, I've been driving trucks 25 years, so I'm familiar with everything that goes along with being able to drive trucks and everything else. But your medical certificate, they are really getting really precise before you leave that doctor's office. They upload everything to the Department of Transportation about your medical tests. Everything is done on a digital basis now. They know your blood pressure. Now, they may have done that in the past too, I'm not sure, but they do it right there in front of you now. They upload it and they will not pass you. You know what you need to pass on the vision tests, the hearing tests, and the blood pressure. I had a problem with blood pressure. Now, I had blood pressure problems before, been on medication due to unhealthy ways of eating and everything else. You know what I mean? Used to eat a lot of bad food, junk food, fried food. I always exercise, but exercise, that's not gonna lower your blood pressure. It's really not. So I'm gonna tell y'all some things y'all need to be aware of before y'all go take y'all DOT medical renewal. And truckers, y'all need to listen to this. I just experienced this. When it comes to blood pressure, it needs to be, in order for you all to pass, 140 over 90, okay? 140 being the top number, 90 being the low number, which is still elevated, you know what I mean? Which is still elevated, but you need to be aware of that. Now, I have a blood pressure machine. At home, I was taking my blood pressure before I went to the doctor. It was around 125 over 80, 121, over 75. Good. Early in the morning, then go down to the doctor's office and it would shoot up. You know what I mean? And the nurse would tell me, oh, white coat syndrome. You're suffering from white coat syndrome. It would go up at one time. They took it 3 times just a couple weeks ago. The first test they took, when I just walked in, when I had just got done taking my test at home. Anxiety levels go up when you walk into the doctor's office. I had just got it taken at home. Doctor's office, first test they took, 152 over like 95. Went up that fast. None, I didn't drink no coffee, none of that. Like 9 in the morning. Didn't exercise, none of that. Just went straight in just on water. The second test, that was 152 over 95. They waited for maybe about a minute, changed arms. Then it shot up to like 168 over something high, like over 168 over 95 or something, I don't know. Then my blood pressure, the third time they did it, it shot all the way up to like 180 to something crazy, 180 to like over 120. That's stroke level. Okay, that's stroke level. I said, wait, hold up. I just took my test at home. It's low at home, but when I come to the doctor's office, it's high. They say, oh yeah, white coat syndrome. The doctors are aware of it. I'm like, okay, that's due to nerves and everything, anxiety. People don't like doctors. People don't like doctors' offices. I said, well, do the Department of Transportation consider this? They like, no. They want to know your blood pressure in the doctor's office, and we got to send that directly to them. They want to see that. I'm like, okay, so they weren't going to pass me after years of being passed. They weren't going to pass. And my blood pressure always was high, but it didn't went down because I changed, I had lifestyle changes and everything else. So it's gotten better. But still, when I go into the doctor office, it still shoots up. So what ended up happening is I kept going back. Now, my medical certificate had never expired. It was going to expire within a matter of like 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So I said, okay, well, I'm going to keep going back. I went back maybe about 3 days straight. Kept taking my blood pressure at home. Blood pressure low. Get to the doctor's office. Blood pressure sky high. Now, I was saying, okay, well, I'm going to sit up there and watch what I eat. I'm going to watch everything that I do. I'm going to go early in the morning. Still didn't work. It was this one particular guy, one particular nurse that, you know what I mean? Okay, so I'm going to show y'all something, what he was doing. I'm going to tell you how I ended up passing. So what ended up happening was the guy was taking my blood pressure. He put the little thing around my arm. And the thing is, I didn't know, my father told me this, my arm was down. That's why I wasn't really passing it. I didn't know your arm needed to be elevated to get a more accurate reading. I didn't know that. Because I didn't know that until the day I actually passed, when a young lady actually took my blood pressure and put me on a different machine. Then I ended up passing with a blood pressure of like 131 over, maybe 78 or something. Which sounds more reasonable because I had to get, to be a truck driver, to be cleared to drive trucks, you got to be from 140 over 90 to be cleared to drive. So I ended up passing, like, about 132 over 79. Something low that made more sense. Because, I was doing everything I had to do to pass the test. I said, I'm not going to go out like that. So white coat syndrome, I did some research on white coat syndrome. And it goes into really, really being careful, being relaxed when you go into the doctor's office. Man, don't nobody like no doctors. Okay? Because every time you go in the doctor's office, 9 times out of 10, they're going to give you some bad news. Okay. That's why it's good to go in and get regular checkups. I was getting bad news. I wasn't passing my blood pressure test. Come to find out, the guy was actually taking my blood pressure and doing it wrong in the first place. Okay. And another thing, so I'm going to give you truck drivers some tips on what y'all need to do to prepare. This is the whole point of this video. Prepare for the blood pressure test. And you guys should already tell if, y'all have eye problems. You should be wearing glasses. Ear problems. Hey, you need to get that fixed. But when you go in, you need to really, really watch your blood pressure due to white coat syndrome, anxiety, everything else. So I wrote down a couple things that I was doing. And that third time I went in to take the test, although somebody else took the blood pressure test, and passed me because they put me on another machine and they actually did it the right way by elevating my arm. You know what I mean? I don't know what goes on there, but it makes more sense. They put me on a different machine. So probably the nurse that was actually doing the blood pressure previous had me on maybe a broken machine. I don't know. All I know is I passed. I'm going to tell you truckers what to do for prep. What I end up doing, behaviors, because I couldn't pass. I'm going to tell you all what y'all need to start doing. I wrote some things down. This has nothing to do with white coat syndrome, because anxiety is anxiety. If you don't like the doctor's office, you don't like the doctor's office, okay? Anxiety. But what you can do, you can start doing breathing exercises. What I did prior to that. A breathing exercise, remember the numbers, 4, 7, 8 seconds. 4 seconds, inhale through your nose for 4 seconds, all right? 7 seconds, hold it. Breathe in 4 seconds through your nose. Hold it for 7 seconds. Okay? Then exhale out of your mouth for 8 seconds. All right? 4 seconds through your nose, inhale. Hold it for 7 seconds. And for 8 seconds, exhale out your mouth. Okay? That helped out a lot. And that helped me relax because I started doing that, I do that every day now. You know, that's good for breathing. And I didn't realize breathing exercise is something that we really neglect, is breathing. We just let our lungs do what it do. But no, breathing exercises will lower your blood pressure naturally. So that's one thing, and you have to look this up, do some research on that. Learn how to breathe properly. So learn how to do your breathing exercises. That's prep work prior to you basically going in for your DOT medical certificate, the renewal. Another thing I did was I wrote some stuff in no caffeine. At least I would go maybe about 3 days. It's gonna be hard. I'll be honest with you. Go about 2 days, no caffeine. You drink some decaf. This could probably be tough for you or something. If y'all really, really depend on caffeine, no Red Bulls. I don't drink that stuff anyway, but I like coffee, but I drink a lot of decaf already. But some of you all drink a lot of coffee. I would go no caffeine. Start kind of like getting yourself off of it at least 2 weeks before. Then you can always go back to it. But caffeine, raise your blood pressure. So I would say no caffeine 2 days prior to you going in to take your DOT exam. All right. I wrote some beet juice. Drink some beet juice, organic beet juice. Make sure, it's straight up, real, fresh squeezed beet juice. You're going to spend about $10. If it costs you about $10 on up, that's real beet juice. Go to Publix. If you at Whole Foods or something, it's going to probably be about $15 at Whole Foods. Trader Joe's, but get you some real beet juice. Drink some of that. Drink maybe about, 12 ounces a day prior to you taking your blood pressure test. Prior to you going in, getting your renewal. I don't know what's in there. I'm going to do some more research on it, but it helped out a lot. Okay? I've been on that stuff now, and I suggest you do the same. I'm not a doctor. I'm just letting y'all know what helped me. Why I was failing the blood pressure test, I think it's because, the blood pressure test, the guy that was giving it to me was doing it wrong. That he mentioned all kind of stuff, saying, oh, you need to go get some medication, whoom-de-whoom, and blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, my blood pressure is good at home. So that's my blood pressure. Oh, you tend to be more relaxed at home. I'm like, well, don't that make sense? So it's some things you can do. Some people will give you the runaround when you go get your blood pressure test. Do some prep work. Do some research. Talk to your doctors. I still say the medical industry still trying to make money off of people trying to get them medication that they don't need, especially blood pressure medication that they don't need. And like I said before, I probably always had, good blood pressure, but I took the medication before, and now that I'm thinking about white coat syndrome, my anxiety levels go up when I'm in a doctor's office. So I probably was always getting an accurate reading on my blood pressure test. Do research on it, okay? Do research on it. So I mentioned no caffeine, breathing exercises, and beet juice, okay? And watch your sodium intake. Days prior, you should do that anyway as you get older. That's what I did to get my blood pressure down, way before I was went in recently to go get redo my medical certificate. So drink beet juice, okay? No caffeine, no sodium, right? Breathing exercises. That's your prep work you need to do to pass that blood pressure, because they're looking for 3 things: your eye test, your ear test, and your blood pressure test, because they look at high blood pressure can lead to strokes and heart attacks, and they don't want y'all having none of them behind that wheel. And it seems like I'm missing something, but I think those are the main 3 things that the Department of Transportation want you to really pass on. Those things, besides like if you have problems with sleep apnea and all of those stuff, but that's rare. People that's struggling with obesity, some of them pass they test, because just because you're obese don't mean you got high blood pressure. But like I said before, a lot of times it's due to white coat syndrome. So I want you guys to do research on that stuff. Do your prep work. I'm not a doctor, but I'm just letting y'all know what helped me out pass, my medical certificate, get my medical certificate renewed, and pass my blood pressure test, and get you a blood pressure machine too to keep at home, because that's good. That's part of self-care, watching your blood pressure. And go to the doctors at least twice a year. Go to the doctors. Take care of yourself. All right, truckers, be safe on the road. You know what I mean? Take care of yourself. Practice self-care. Get your sleep. You know what I mean? Take the advice I give you. Do research on it. And take care of yourself and be safe. I'll talk to y'all later. This is See Me in My 50s.